Lake Marjory State Forest Campground is located in the northern part of Michigan's Lower Peninsula along I-75 just outside of Gaylord in the small town of Frederick. The campground sits on the south side of the lake and is currently closed but should be reopening right around the same time that this video gets posted. The DNR has closed the campground because of issues with the well, and once the new well is in place, they're going to reopen the campground. They're hoping for sometime around mid-June. I parked my car and walked back into the campground where there are 10 sites available, and there was ironically somebody else back here also just walking around checking the place out. The 10 sites do cost $20 a night, and they're fairly decent sites. They're actually exactly what I would expect out of a state forest campground. I love when the state forest campgrounds are small build and have very few sites to them. They feel remote, although this one has quite a bit of road noise from I-75. At certain sites you can actually see the road traffic going through. Off to the left there is Lake Marjory, and you don't really have great access to the lake. You could easily put in a canoe or a kayak via the pathways that walk down to the water, and the hike down there isn't very long at all, but again, it's not great access. You also don't have a great opportunity for fishing from the shore without putting in a canoe or a kayak, maybe a small 12-foot aluminum boat. You can see from the sides of the campsites that you could easily fit pop-up campers and small trailers in here. They'd also be pretty ideal for tent campers. And you can see from the view there that the campground is situated on one big loop with outhouses off on the first part of the campground when you come in by the registration station. There's the well that's no longer there because they're going to be replacing it. It either ran dry or it was contaminated, and they have to do some treatment before they can put the well back together. Lake Marjory is a relatively small lake, and it is pretty decent for largemouth bass and bluegill fishing. However, like I said, there's not great access to the lake aside from here via the pathway. One nice thing about hiking down through here is that I don't see any poison ivy. A lot of these smaller campgrounds are riddled with poison ivy. This one does not seem to be at all. This is where you would launch your canoe or kayak, and you can see, like I said, it's a very small lake. Don't come out here and expect to limit out on panfish, and if you do, make sure that you're being respectful of the space and that you're not disposing your fish waste here at the campground or leaving them in the water. This is the last site around the loop after you walk past the pathway to the water, and it is site number 10. I recommend checking the Michigan DNR website before you travel specifically to this location to make sure that the campground is opened back up.